Hi, my friend. It is really good to connect with you today. Perfect timing, as you might say, because today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about timing. I actually had some inspiration when I was writing today. I've been lately writing whatever's kind of coming out first thing in the morning. And today I had an inspiration on timing. Now, a lot of times we think about timing as something we have to plan or prepare for. You know, we treat time and timing as something we can schedule and something that we can put together. And I think a lot of people attempt to approach timing from a control perspective, or at least a mental control perspective. But here's what I've found in this perspective about timing, and I'm going to go ahead and share it with you right now. And whatever feels, very aligned with you, whatever feels really true to you, go with it. So, timing is a fantastic gift. You are ready when it is now. What does that mean? So, like I said, a lot of people will try to take timing and make it something that they can anticipate or plan. But I found timing itself is more about being very present, being completely connected to the moment so that you are totally receptive and aware of the opportunities that are emerging as they are appearing in your life now. Most timing is about your responsiveness to opportunities. It sort of reminds me of being those movie scenes when they're on top of a train and they gotta time when they jump off so that they can, live. And, or when there's moving platforms and you time it and jump to the next platform. Now, I know for a lot of times, there's some anticipation or looking in that. But I would say, what about in life, right? When you're moving along in life, and a great example is a job, and you're in that job, but suddenly you're not feeling like it's really connecting with you anymore, but maybe you don't have an insight or a perception about where your next leap will be. So timing comes into play with that, because what you start to do, if you want to connect with timing, is you go inward rather than reaching outward with the perspective that you don't know what you're doing and you got to figure something out and you don't know where you're going. You actually start with your base inward. And the reason I say this is your inner base is the foundation upon which everything is created. Okay, your inner base, your frequency, your perception of reality, whatever you would like to call it. This is the foundation for everything you create in life. And it's so easy for us to put an excuse out there going, oh yeah, that stuff's well and good, but this is the real world and I got to find a job now. I'll just use that frequency stuff for when I lose my makeup or when I, lock my keys in my car or whatever. And what I say to you is when you're starting to approach life from a conscious creator standpoint, every single thing in your life is to be approached from a conscious creator standpoint, especially the parts that really shake us to our core. And something like, something as foundational as changing a job, or changing a relationship, or moving to a new place, or having something very big come into your life is an excellent opportunity to connect with your timing and to go within and get your footing, I call it. Now, we don't only go within to get our footing. We go within to get our footing, to lay our foundation of our vibration. And, to clarify, it doesn't mean that you don't feel certain ways. Because it's true that you might actually feel very unsettled by the experience you're having, and that's okay. It's not about trying to become perfect before you make a leap. What this is, going inward, is an act of deep trust and vulnerability with yourself and life. And now we're swinging back into timing here. So timing is about relaxing into the moment, not tensing into it. When you're going inward, you're almost relaxing into your body. You're trusting the foundation of you, of your inner being. Because there will be things around you that consistently change in your life. There'll be things around you that consistently shift in your life. And anytime we're leaning on those things for our sense of well-being or our sense of purpose or our sense of, everything being okay, when they move, one of two things happen. We sometimes either cling to them or, we start to feel unbalanced. And that's the sort of hidden gift when things leave our lives like that, as hard as they can feel, because it really shakes us out of giving our power away and shakes us back into our power, even though I know sometimes it can feel really, really uncomfortable. So, but if you are going, through some upheaval like that in your life, I have a tremendous amount of love and empathy for you. Going through an upheaval can be just such an intense experience, and you are incredibly brave. And, I have so much love for you. And just remember, sometimes when we go through upheavals, we tend to want to go inside and retreat and push the world away. And, I want to encourage you to follow what feels true for you. But remember, there are a lot of beings who love you very much, a lot of people who love you very much. So it's okay to retreat, but, also talk with yourself a bit and, maybe explore people that you feel like you could be vulnerable with, even if it's just maybe a new person you meet, maybe, maybe journaling, maybe just taking a walk and seeing who you bump into. Sometimes these things can help widen our perspective, widen our world, and remind us that it's okay to go through upheaval. It's really okay. You're not broken. You're not in a bad spot. This is, upheaval is often part of life. And the effect to which we get shaken out of it is just a reflection to how practiced we are to doing that centering within, that grounding within. All right, let's get to it here. Let's see. So, timing takes an extraordinary amount of self-love and trust, because what's happening is, like I said, you go within, you kind of get settled within yourself. And again, what I mean by that is you're really getting clear on what it is you want. And I don't mean, the list of things. I don't mean like, a mansion or this or that or whatever. That's cool and all, but getting clear on what you want is more like getting clear on the state of being you want to live now in each moment. It's when you're creating, when you're in a place that you feel constricted, it's a very nice, smooth journey when you get a little bit general and you tune in a bit to that feeling or that state that you want. And it's not just about, I wish I could be happy. It's about trusting yourself to be vulnerable enough to experience happiness and experience the play and experience the pain of where you are. Now, this is an interesting one, because I don't want to create this illusion that it's just about constructing happiness and everything from where you are, especially if you're feeling very angry or sad or painful. I think we put such a priority on happiness that, our other feelings sometimes get, try to, okay, let's get through this so I can get to happiness. And, from my perspective, all of your feelings are quite beautiful, are quite rich, and have a lot to share with you. And there's a deep wisdom in pain. There's a deep wisdom in sadness. There's wisdom in anger and in fear and in feeling neutral. And, all of these experiences have something to share with us. And the only time they become bad in our reality is when we're perceiving them as something wrong with us or a problem, or, oh no, my vibration can't be low because then I can't do this. And I think that that's a very, very almost light switch, black and white way to look at life. And I think, you know, especially if you're watching here, I know if you're watching here, you're ready to step into a wider perspective about how you create versus just the light switch, good and bad. Oh, my vibration's this, my vibration is not. Like, you know, it's a little reactive. And I know that you're ready for a wider perspective on how you are creating, how you are being a powerful creator, because you're watching this. So, and you know, timing, like I say, takes an extraordinary amount of self-love and self-trust, and part of that is really trusting that the feelings and the experiences that you are having are fully valid, and that they are communicating and sharing something with you that's just so rich and so needed in your experience at this time. And the more you allow yourself to very lovingly connect with them, to lean into them, to not judge yourself, you know, I'm going to use that a little carefully, but to not judge yourself, the more you can really embrace that, the more you're connected with your inner foundation, your inner grounding, because it doesn't require you to be happy, to be in a state of trust or love, as it were. It doesn't require you to try and force a state. It's truly just about embracing the moment, and that's the coolest part, because then you start to realize you don't have to try and wrestle with who you are right now or with what you're feeling right now. Whoever you are, whatever you're feeling is exactly conductive to the moment, to your evolution, to your beingness, and you can lean into that. And that's what's beautiful. And that leaning into it, that's the trust. That's the trust, the leaning into the feeling. It's the trust of the moment. It's the trust of the timing. Because when you're leaning into it, when you have that self-trust and love, you're not trying to achieve something here. You're not trying to make timing do something so you feel something. You are already that feeling. You are already that embrace. And then timing can work for you. Timing can work with you. Timing can now connect with you and the opportunities you want, even if you're sad. When you're leaning into that deep self-trust. And the thing I really want to emphasize here is to be aware whether or not you're truly leaning into that self-trust and letting go, because timing isn't about rescuing you from the moment. And I think this is the big pivot point. Timing is not about rescuing you from the moment. Timing is what happens when we fully embrace the moment. Timing is what happens when we step into our power in the moment. Timing is what happens when we take this unimaginable pain or fear or resistance that we have, and we look it square in the eye and we go, I see you, I love you, and we're worthy anyway, and I can lean into this, and I can embrace this, and I can really trust myself that what I'm experiencing right now is exactly what I need. And even if I don't fully trust it, okay, I'm just going to be here and know, and I'm going to know that this too will shift, but I don't need it to right now. And I understand that that's both simple but also perhaps really extraordinarily challenging, because a lot of us really react and recoil at the idea of leaning into something that feels undesirable. But I really want to offer you the opportunity to see how much incredible courage and strength you have. And when you're feeling something intense, rather than running from it, rather than trying to push it away, rather than trying to, meditate it away or bless it away or whatever, see yourself as this really incredible alchemist who is being offered these different ingredients, and the change is happening inside of you. And when you're taking all these seemingly individual, dangerous, ingredients, or scary anger and this and happiness and hope and fear and what and this, and you're embracing them and mixing them and allowing them to catalyze inside of you to see what happens. To see what happens as you lean into that trust of yourself, that trust of what you're feeling is really okay. And that maybe there's just an old fear that you're carrying, an old defense mechanism that's what you're pushing up against, and it's not, really this big scary thing, and that it's okay to feel how you feel. And final thought today on timing, it's not about anticipation, it's about participation. It's about participating with life, participating with the moment. It's not about thinking about when it will come. It's not about anticipating. It's about participating. And so with all these thoughts about timing, I'd love to hear any of your thoughts, any of your questions. It's been so fun to create this with you, this inspiration. And of course, as always, you can check out daniellelynn.com. I'll put books and things on there, and it's really fun. And send me a message if you like. It's always great to hear from you. And know that you're not going through this journey alone. You got me, you got all your friends. We are all by your side. So have a beautiful day, and thanks for joining me.